Welcome to the Fit Over 40 podcast, episode number 3. If you don't know, my name is Chris Mangano. I'm the host and the owner of Fit Over 40. And I help men over 40, just like yourself, burn fat, build muscle, and boost their testosterone so that you can look and feel your best. And you're likely here because you're either struggling right now or you struggled in the past with your health and fitness, and you want to fix it once and for all. So I'm very glad you're here. And especially glad you're here if you're joining me in the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, if you're listening to this either on the podcast or on you watching this on YouTube, you need to get in the Facebook group. We're blowing up. Tons of awesome guys in there. Tons of good stuff going on in there. Just go to Facebook and search Testosterone, Nutrition, and Fitness Solution for Men over 40, and you will find us. So go do that if you're not already in there. Today we are going to be talking about testosterone and 7 ways you can boost your testosterone naturally. And I'm going to talk about good ways, not BS over-the-counter test boosters that don't really do anything except lighten your wallet. But before I get into that, I do want to give a special shout out to one of our group members, Mike Donchez. I hope I pronounced your last name right, Mike. If I didn't, please correct me. Mike and I have talked a few times. He's super active in the group. He's been a great group member, and he's finally decided to join the Fit Over 40 family and start burning fat and get rid of that flab that's covering up his abs so that when he goes out to the pool with his buddies and with his family, he can take his shirt off and feel good about it and feel confident. So I'm excited to work with you, Mike, and I can't wait to see your progress. With that out of the way, let's get into today's episode. Like I said, we're talking about testosterone. So really quick before I get into the 7 strategies, I do just kind of want to briefly talk about why testosterone is important and how to, figure out what's up, Gary. It's been a long time. Good to see you in here. And how to kind of identify if you may be suffering from low testosterone. So real quick, I've talked about this before. I'm not going to go into great detail with this, but some of the reasons why testosterone is important. First of all, for our overall health. Low testosterone oftentimes is correlated with cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, really bad stuff that you don't want. So there actually are some really bad negative health benefits if you have low testosterone. And then, of course, having low testosterone, especially in conjunction with higher estrogen, is going to make building muscle and burning fat really, really challenging and really difficult. So definitely want to have those test levels optimized as best you can. And then, of course, what are some of the symptoms that if you think maybe you have low testosterone? I mean, the biggest one that most guys suffer from is just low energy, being lethargic, just not really wanting to do anything. Obviously, low sex drive is a big one. Low libido, that's another huge indication. Some other ones, like you might be irritable all the time. Maybe you are struggling with burning fat, building muscle, like you're following a fitness routine, you're watching what you're eating, but nothing's really happening. That could be another sign there. So there's many more too, and I've talked about the symptoms many times, so I don't want to go into great detail on that because I want to get right to the meat of this and give you guys what you're waiting for, and that's the 7 ways that you can boost your testosterone naturally that actually work, that are actually highly effective, not 7, crappy BS ways. So let's jump right into it, and let's start with number 1, and that's exercise. And now we all know exercise has really many benefits, but I want to talk about it specifically for boosting testosterone. And when we talk about it specifically in regards to boosting our testosterone, there's 2 types of exercise we want to focus on. Number 1, that's resistance training, which I talked about last episode. Resistance training is one of the best ways to boost your testosterone, not only in the short term, but over the long term. It's the best way when it comes to exercise to boost your testosterone. Obviously, lifting weights would be the ideal way, but I talked about other forms of resistance training on last week's episode, so you can go back and watch that if you want some ideas on what you can do there. And then on the more cardio side would be high intensity interval training. This is a style of training where you alternate between a really high intensity movement, like let's say sprinting, and then you alternate that with a lower intensity movement or maybe even rest. So maybe like you do a short sprint and then you walk for a little bit, and then you do a short sprint and you walk for a little bit, hence the interval part of the training. Now this has also been proven to be a great way to boost testosterone levels. So if you're not currently doing any kind of exercise, really will boost testosterone. So if you're not doing any kind of exercise at all, it's time to start. Get out there, start exercising. Let's get those test levels up. And then, of course, number two is weight loss, is losing weight. And being overweight or obese will have huge negative impacts on your testosterone levels. There's a study done on males between the ages of 14 and 20. So think about 14 years old and 20 years old. That's like when you're going through puberty and your test levels should be through the roof. And they found that kids, I guess, that were that age, I call them kids now, that's how you know you're getting old, right? Kids that were that age had about 50% less testosterone than kids of the same age who were not overweight or obese. So you can see how even at a young age it impacts you. Now imagine when you're in your 40s and your testosterone levels are already declining, right? Because we know our testosterone levels start declining right around our early 30s and they decline every year from there on. Being overweight or being obese is going to have huge negative impact on your testosterone. And then, you know, I've even like heard of guys in other testosterone groups that I'm in who have said they've lost, 100 pounds and their testosterone levels went up 2, 3, even 400 points just from losing weight, not even with TRT or anything, just from losing weight. So certainly weight, being overweight, being obese has a huge negative impact on your testosterone levels. So that kind of goes in hand with number one, right? So you definitely want to get that weight down. Yes, I agree, Robert. Yes, once you stay, if you are going to go the TRT route, you don't want to stop. So definitely you want to still optimize your test levels for sure. Number three, let's talk about diet, but it's probably not the way you think. So this is where a lot of guys actually trip themselves up when it comes to diet, because if you're trying to optimize your testosterone levels, you really need all the macronutrients. And if you're not sure what the macronutrients are, those are just your proteins, carbs, and fats. So all macronutrients play a role in increasing our test levels. So if you go on a strict diet, like a low carb diet, you're eliminating foods and macronutrients that are going to help your test levels. It's been proven that a balanced diet is better for your testosterone levels, not a restrictive diet. And this also plays into like a low calorie diet. It's been proven that really low calorie, really restrictive calorie diets also will lower your test levels, as will overeating and binge eating. So you really want to like find that happy medium where you're getting all the macronutrients, you're getting everything your body needs, you're giving yourself enough calories, but you're also not overeating and overindulging, right? So when we think about diet, we think about going on diets like keto or whatever, low carb or paleo, but really those are actually not beneficial for you when we're talking about your testosterone levels. So keep that in mind. Number four, and this is, well, I've talked about this one a lot. I love this one because I live in a sunny climate. I love the sun, and that's get more vitamin D. And of course, the sun is the best way to get vitamin D. 15 to 20 minutes a day should be fine. But I understand that not all you guys live in a climate where you can get sun every day, you can get sun all the time. So you can also take 3,000 IUs of vitamin D3. And this has actually been proven. There was a 12-month study done where they supplemented guys with vitamin D3, and they found that their tests increased by about 25%. So definitely this is gonna have a huge impact for you. So even if you're in a sunny climate, if you don't get a lot of sunlight, taking a vitamin D supplement will definitely be beneficial for you. Probably the best supplement you can take for testosterone that actually works. So now brings me to number 5, and this is a bit of a challenging one, I know, for a lot of us and for myself, and that's to avoid stress. And I know, there can be many things in our lives that causes stress, whether it's like our job, our family, whatever, sports, I don't know, whatever. Like lots of things can cause us stress, but stress is really, really bad for our health and especially our testosterone. And the reason is when you're really stressed out, you release a hormone called cortisol, which has many negative things, but it actually really rapidly lowers your testosterone levels. So you really want to try to avoid stress as much as you can. So if you have areas in your life that are causing you a lot of stress that you can stay away from, you're going to want to do that as much as you can when you're trying to optimize your testosterone levels. Because if you're really stressed out all the time, or if you're always in really high stress situations, it's going to really impact your testosterone levels in a negative way. So, and it's going to have, stress is a really bad thing anyways. I mean, some stress is okay, but a lot of stress, being under high stress all the time, is really bad for your health overall anyways, but especially your testosterone. So you're going to want to try to avoid stress as best you can. And number 6 is sleep. And this is another one that's a struggle for us guys in our 40s. Maybe you have kids, maybe you work long hours, maybe you've just gotten into bad habits of coming home and watching TV or being on the computer all night, and then you got to get up early. But sleep is really important, because there was a study done, and they've linked guys who only get 5 hours or less of sleep a night, their testosterone decreases by about 15%, right? So 5 hours or less, which I know a lot of guys do that. And then also on the flip side, they looked at, they were able to correlate that for every hour above those 5 hours that you got of sleep, it actually increased your testosterone by another 15%. So you want to be getting like at least minimum 6 hours a night, and that's probably not enough. I would say at least 7, anywhere up to 10 if you're lucky enough to be able to get 10 hours of sleep a night. Hey, good for you. That would be great, because that would really help those test levels. But definitely you want to be shooting for 6 hours, and it's not just, it's got to be good sleep too. That's the other thing, right? It's not just like lay down, at 10 or at midnight and toss and turn and then wake up at 6. That's not a good 6 hours. You want a good solid 6 or more hours of sleep a night. So really try to figure out a way to do that. Try to get more sleep. It's going to really be beneficial for you, and not just for your testosterone levels, but kind of like reducing stress. It's going to benefit your health and your fitness in many, many, many other ways too. So definitely try to get more sleep if you can, which I know is a challenge, but try to make that a priority for yourself. And then number 7, this one doesn't usually go over too well for a lot of guys, but it's to consume less alcohol. Now, I'm not saying cut out alcohol completely. I get it. Sometimes you're going to drink socially, or maybe you just come home after a stressful day and you need a beer, or you need something to drink. I totally understand that. But alcohol is really bad when it comes to our testosterone levels. So it damages our Leydig cells, which are responsible for our testes for producing and secreting testosterone. So, you don't want that. It interferes with testosterone synthesis. It increases cortisol, which we talked about on the stress part, why that's harmful. So if you're really stressed out and you're drinking, now your cortisol's really jacked up. So not good. And then also it may convert the conversion of testosterone into estrogen, because anytime you have testosterone, it does convert into estrogen, but alcohol may increase that. And obviously estrogen is not something we're looking for. Some estrogen is good. You definitely need estrogen, but if your estrogen is super high, generally that goes hand in hand with lower testosterone, and that's where things start to become very difficult, and you start running into all these terrible symptoms that guys with low testosterone get. So again, though, alcohol in moderation, of course, is okay. I'm not saying don't ever drink alcohol. Like, having a drink every now and then isn't gonna jack up your testosterone levels, but if you're the type of guy who comes home and has a drink or 2 or 3 every night, and then maybe binge drinks on the weekend, or if you're a guy who doesn't drink during the week and then binge drinks on the weekend, maybe you want to look into cutting back on that if you can, to help optimize those test levels and just optimize your overall health. So there was a 7 again. So exercise, obviously resistance training, HIIT training, diet. You want your diet to be balanced. You want an adequate amount of calories, not too high, not too low. What else did we say? What was after that? Lose weight. Obviously will be big, so start dropping those pounds, which goes hand in hand with number 1 and number 2. Vitamin D, best supplement you could take for testosterone boosting. Try to avoid stress. Thank you, Gary. 5,000 IU. Awesome. Great job. Try to avoid stress. Try to get more sleep, of course, and try to reduce your alcohol consumption as best you can. So I hope that was really helpful. Let me know below, comment below which areas you think you do well, or which areas you think you need more work in, or which areas you're going to go to work on. And let me know that. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you tuning in. And if you find this content valuable, if it helped you out, I'd like to ask you just to do a few things for me. You can leave me some feedback in the comments. That's always great. I'd always like to hear what you think, what you'd like me to talk about in the future. I want this to be very valuable for you. So if you have any ideas or any topics you'd like to hear about in the future, leave me a comment below with that. Again, get in the Facebook group. If you're in the Facebook group, start asking questions, start participating. That's why we're here. We're all here to support each other, help each other learn, help each other get better. So start participating. If you're not in the Facebook group, get in there. Again, Testosterone, Nutrition, and Fitness Solutions for Men over 40. Thank you, Willie. Over 40. So get in there and start participating. And then finally, if you know anybody, any guys in their 40s or 50s who may really benefit from this, show them this, have them watch it, get them in the group if you can. Let's get them the help they need as well. So again, I appreciate you tuning in. I hope it was valuable. I hope you learned at least something, or maybe 7 somethings. And be here next week. I'm here every week, Thursday at 12. If you're in the Facebook group, I'm go live every week in my Facebook group, Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And then of course later on I put it on YouTube, and then of course on the podcast audio only. So, but if you want to get it live, and if you want me to give you shout outs like I'm giving the other guys on here, then join me every Thursday in the Facebook group, go live. And again, I hope it was helpful. I appreciate everybody tuning in and listening, and I'll see you guys next time.